Hey friends, I'm Nikki and welcome back to my channel. I'm a fairly beginner sewer. I started my journey properly in January this year, so it's been officially 6 months. Yay! I'm still just obsessed as I was when I started, but I really wanted to share some of the things that I really wish I knew before I started to sew. And if you're a beginner sewer, hopefully this might help you. First one, it's a very, very expensive hobby. Wowza. I have spent so much money and I didn't even have to buy these machines, luckily. These were inherited to me by my mum. So yeah, it's just really expensive. Fabric's expensive. All the notions you need, all the little extra things that you don't really think about. Yeah, it's expensive. It's great. And even if you thrift and you find your fabric from, op shops and things, it's still a very expensive hobby. Mainly because you become obsessed, like absolutely obsessed. I buy 99% of my fabrics from the op shop and I'm obsessed with it. I feel like at this point, it's an unhealthy obsession. Does anyone else feel like that? That you just want to go all the time and grab fabrics. But even if you aren't obsessed level and you only want to buy from proper stores, you need quite a few meters to make, say, a dress, and things could be $20 a meter. So already you're looking at maybe 60, 70 bucks, and this is probably on the lower side for fabric for a dress. And then, you might need to buy a pattern. If you're looking at an indie pattern designer, that might be 25 bucks, Australian I'm talking. So it really, really adds up. If you want to print that at the copy shop instead of stick it together yourself, you're looking at another 15 bucks. So it really, really adds up, especially when you're new and you don't have the confidence in your skills yet. The second thing that I wish that I knew is that tutorials and patterns and, well, anyway, the ones that I've used, there is some basic information missing. And it's things like what feet are needed, what needles do you need? Really basic things that you should know in the sewing world, but when you're new, you just don't know. Like I found a vintage pattern for wind cheaters for my children and I love it and it was so fun to sew, but I did not know that you needed special needles and I did not know that it was going to be so damn hard to do the stretch fabric around, your neck and all those types of things. So yeah, there is some basic stuff missing. And just further to that with the stretch fabrics, it's so much harder. Okay. Now, a really positive one I want to share is I just didn't know how transformative this process was going to be for me. It has healed parts of my trauma from losing my mum. I feel like it's given me a purpose again to pick myself back up and do something that's honorable and kind to the environment and honors my mum. Sorry. So I really feel that sewing has brought back a level of specialness and yeah, I don't know. It's just healed parts of me that I didn't think it would. So be prepared for that if you need it. Another thing that I wish I knew is how incredible it feels to finish a project, to do something and look at it and go, I made this. And you want to scream it to everyone like, oh my gosh, I made this. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Like the first thing that I ever made, I just kept picking it up and saying to my husband, I made this. What the heck? Like I literally kept saying, what the? Because it's the most wonderful thing to hold something tangible in your hands that you've purchased from the shop for 34 years of your life, and then all of a sudden you've made an item of clothing. It's just such a proud, exciting moment. So be prepared for those really great rush of happy endorphins and emotions. Now, another thing that I wish I knew is that some certain fabrics are easier to sew with than others. All right. And some techniques are harder or easier to sew with than others. One of those being, I know I touched on this earlier, is stretch fabrics. It was a whole different ballgame when I first tried to do stretch fabrics. You know, when I was thinking about this journey and wanting to make items, I really wanted to learn some massive basics like a skirt, a top, a jumper, you know, all those types of things. Well, no wonder people don't really make t-shirts, because it's definitely harder. It's a lot harder. And when I first did it, it was just not working for me. And I eventually worked out I needed special needles to go through stretch fabrics. How do you know that? You don't, like, it's all just trial and error. And actually, I joined a Facebook group for Australia with sewing, and I found out from that. So that was really, really helpful. But yeah, you need somewhere to go, and YouTube's a helpful one, to find out these basic things. I also got a walking foot, which I've actually got on at the moment because I'm about to use it. But yeah, I didn't know about a walking foot, and that makes things so much easier. Like it's not hard anymore to work with stretch fabrics when you have the right tools. The next thing that I wish I knew is that you didn't need to buy patterns. You don't need to buy patterns. You can draft things yourself. You can imagine things yourself. You can trace any item of clothing that you have and recreate it. And I did a lot of that at the start of my journey. I was scared of patterns. I was truly scared of patterns. And now I realize I didn't need to be scared of it. Like it really isn't that hard to read it, unless you've got a vintage one. They're a bit more, you know, flying by the seat of your pants type thing. But yeah, it's not that bad using a pattern. Actually, it's great. And you can really gain a lot of knowledge quickly because you're learning new skills. It's also really helpful if you're a beginner and you are buying a pattern. Try and grab one that has a tutorial video on YouTube or something like that you can follow, because it's always good to see it rather than just read it. You can sew from rectangles and self-draft, like I mentioned earlier. That's a lot of fun, and I absolutely highly encourage you to try a few of those things. But it is messier and it is harder, and it takes a lot of brain space. So just be aware of that, you know, that it definitely is harder, and it also may not look as good as if you're using a proper pattern. I like doing both. I really love the idea of learning to draft my own patterns. So if you're excited about that, do it. Do it. Run full steam ahead at whatever you're interested in sewing, because that's what's going to keep you going. Another thing. Now, when I first got started in sewing, you know, there were all these YouTube videos saying the perfect thing to do when you're new is to make bags, or to make like a tote bag, or to make a scrunchie. Oh my gosh, I'd rather cut my eyes open, cut my eyes out of my head. Like that's not what I wanted to do. So if you're new and you want to make your clothes, make your clothes, because that is so fun. And if you're interested in it, you're going to love it. I made a scrunchie once and I was like, I'm never doing this again. And I didn't even do it that good. Like it was not fun to me at all. So you do what you want. I've not made a bag. I've cut one bag out when I first started and I still haven't finished it. I think eventually I'd like to make some bags, but I didn't want to do that learning. I wanted to learn on clothes because that's what I was interested in. So if you're not interested in bags and scrunchies, don't make them. All right? Do not make them. Now, this is a really big one. You do not need to be a perfectionist like I thought. Hands up, let me know in the comments if you are not a perfectionist like me. I am so far from perfectionism, it's not funny, to the point where I think I need to be a bit more intentional and slower with some of the things that I do because I need that a bit more attention to detail. But this put me off at the beginning and actually for years because I've wanted to make my own clothes for years and years and years. But I thought you had to be really precise and perfect. And I'm not that type of person. I thought you really had to, measure everything perfectly. But it turns out there's really not precision because when you cut, you're going to be millimeters out. You might even be centimeters out. There are going to be things that it's just not perfect. It's not the way it is when you're sticking together a PDF pattern. It's not always going to line up perfectly. And that's okay. And it's not going to ruin your garment. So that gave me permission to go, I can breathe and I can do it my own way. And yeah, I can have to try harder in different areas, but it doesn't have to be perfect. So please take that on board if you're like me. The next one is it takes up so much room. Man, I did not think that having this hobby would mean that I've taken over my whole office in here. This was an office, more so a junk room, so probably kept it cleaner. But now it's my sewing room and I've got a lot of fabric. Like I have, this whole table, this little side thing here is filled with sewing things. On the other side of the room, which you can't see, I've got a cupboard down here and it's just full to the brim of fabrics. Like it's insane. So be aware that it is going to take up space, especially if you're thrifting. I feel like when you're thrifting, when you're going to the shops and you're finding something awesome, you just end up grabbing it because you know that it's not always going to be there. And that's a special item that you have to get and keep in your stash. Whereas if you're purchasing new fabrics, you might be able to be a bit more space conscious because just have enough fabric for a couple of projects at a time and then you go back and buy more fabric. So that is a really, I guess, good way of doing it if you are low on space. But it definitely takes up a lot of room. And I did not realize that at all. So is there anything that you guys wish you knew when you first started sewing? Please let me know down below. I would absolutely love to know. But for me, it is, I love it. It has given me so much. It's given me brain space. It's given me the ability to really work and use my brain when I've been a stay-at-home mum for a long while now. And yes, I've had business ventures and worked and all those kind of things. But this is learning a new skill at 34 or 35 is big. And it uses your brain. And I really like that I like that I had this, or I still have this goal to learn something particular. And I've just, ate up any bit of knowledge I could. I've watched so many YouTube videos and I'm learning a really incredible skill that I can pass on to my children. So I wish that I knew that this skill is hopefully going to leave a legacy for my family that they can learn that too. So it's just been wonderful. Another really beautiful, positive thing that I wish that I knew before I started is how it's just instilled an interest and an excitement in my girls as well. I've got 2 girls and a little boy. And my two daughters love being in the sewing room. They love seeing what I'm doing. They're excited about the next project that I'm working on, and they've really taken an interest. And for them to learn a skill is such a sweet, beautiful thing. So it's another point that I can connect with my children in a really unique and special way. So I love that too. So yeah, they're the things that I wish I knew. I will have more videos coming out on beginner things about sewing. So please subscribe and like, and let me know in the comments if there's anything else you want to see from me. Okay, bye.